Hi, everyone. So thank you for joining today's webinar. We're just a few minutes out from 12 o'clock, so we're just going to wait and give a chance for all of the attendees to join, and we'll start at 12:01. Thank you. Hi, thanks everyone for joining our webinar. We're just going to give it another 3 minutes before we get started. So we'll start promptly at 12:01. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It is 12 o'clock, and we still have some attendees coming in, so we'll just give 1 more minute for everyone to get settled, and then we'll start with today's webinar. Thank you. All right, let's get started. My name is Amanda, and I'm the moderator for today's webinar, An Introduction to E-Conveyance for Practitioners in Ontario. Thank you so much for joining us today. So just a few housekeeping items before we get started. We are using a Zoom webinar today, so everyone is muted except for our panelists. If you have any questions, you can use the Q&A feature on the Zoom bar to type in your questions. We will collect your questions and our presenters will answer them at the end of today's presentation. If by chance you're having any issues with your PC audio, you can try to join the webinar via phone. We have the phone details just located right there. I'll leave this up for a few minutes so anyone can take note of that and send us a chat or let us know if you're having any problems dialing in via the phone. If you run into any other technical issues, please let us know via the chat button. It'll notify one of our team members and we'll connect with you directly to try and troubleshoot those problems. And lastly, the webinar is being recorded. We will share the recording with all of the participants after today's session. So I'll just give it a minute on this page so people can orient themselves with the Zoom features in case they need to ask us any questions or if they have any problems with the audio. Okay. If anyone does have any questions, just use the chat or the Q&A and we can send you the necessary information you need to make sure that you can follow today's webinar. So the agenda for today's session is we'll introduce our two panelists. We'll go over a little bit of who we are, Diane Durham, and our application E-Conveyance. We'll give you guys some insight into what we've learned from working with the Ontario real estate community so far. We will have a short product demonstration of the E-Conveyance application, followed by a question and answer period. And we'll go through some current promotions we have for our new firms that join our software, and some easy steps that you can follow to get started using the E-Conveyance application. So our two panelists for today are Suzanne Quinn and Sarah Pugsley. Suzanne Quinn is a real estate lawyer who is working with Diane Durham as a senior business development consultant. Suzanne has been practicing as a sole practitioner for over 17 years. She was called to the bar in Ontario in the year 2000. She is regarded as an expert in her field and has spoken at seminars and conferences throughout Canada. She is also in the process of publishing a book and is working on 2 more in the area of estate planning and administration. Currently, she is part of the Diane Durham E-Conveyance team, helping other real estate lawyers and clerks be more efficient with their time and resources. We also have Sarah Pugsley with us today, who is the product manager of E-Conveyance. She has over 5 years of professional experience working as a real estate conveyancer at various law offices. She currently oversees the development of the E-Conveyance platform in Canada. Utilizing her previous experience as a conveyancer, Sarah has a unique understanding of the evolving technical needs of a real estate law firm and is instrumental in shaping the direction of E-Conveyance's future. So now I will pass it over to Suzanne Quinn, who will continue with the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. So I want to talk a little bit about Diane Durham and who we are. A proud partner in the Canadian residential real estate community. Diane Durham has been a Canadian company for 140 years. E-Conveyance in particular has been around for about 16 years and is one of the leading software software providers in the West Coast in BC. So we have over 500 law firms, over 4,000 users, and over 10,000 monthly transactions. We've been in Ontario for over 4 years, and I myself am an E-Conveyance user. So a little bit about me now. You heard from Amanda that I'm a practicing lawyer. I've had my own law firm in Woodbridge, Ontario for 19 years. I've been a real estate practitioner for all of that. I started using E-Conveyance myself about a year ago because I was looking for some other options in the market. I wanted something that was efficient, easy to use, and accessible from anywhere and everywhere. I had multiple office locations at the time. I also did a fair bit of traveling, so I needed to be able to have software that was accessible from wherever I was and from whatever device I happened to have with me at the time. So I found my solution in E-Conveyance and have been using it ever since. I was such an enthusiastic user of E-Conveyance that Diane Durham asked me if I would consult to them on the development side of things. And after that, they asked if I would help introduce the software to other lawyers in our community, which I'm really pleased to be doing right now. So if we could just move on. So what we've learned from the real estate community so far, part of what I do in introducing E-Conveyance to other lawyers is we also get feedback on what challenges we all face. So not only do I get feedback from you on your challenges, but I can relate to you because I face a lot of those same challenges. So what are those challenges? Some of them are getting the most out of your firm's software and technology. Clerks are spending too much time dealing with low-value tasks, administrative stuff, accounting, mail, keeping updated on new regulations and legislation impacting the conveyancing workflow, inefficiency due to inability for users to connect remotely, managing heavy workloads during peak periods, month ends, and getting visibility into the progress of each file. That's something that we all face. And uncertainty around forced migration to a new conveyancing software. So if anybody's using the conveyancer, you've probably heard by now, or should have, that they are migrating to Unity. The timing for that migration is uncertain. Some firms have already started migrating, but the reality is they're migrating a desktop software to a first-time web platform. I should note that E-Conveyance was designed for the web and has been on the web for 16 years. So this isn't our first rodeo, but this is their first rodeo for Conveyancer. Also important to note that they're not importing any new files into Unity. So whatever files that you have in Conveyancer will have to stay on your desktop. So what are some of the top priorities for lawyers? Remaining profitable in the slow months of the real estate market, acquiring new business and retaining existing clients, retaining clerks and support staff, and making them happy and making their lives easier. And once, you know, it's like being married. When you have a happy wife, you have a happy life. I found in my practice, if you have happy staff, then you're happy as well. So E-Conveyance is something that can help with not only the conveyancing piece and keeping your staff happy, it also helps balance your work and life, helps work-life balance, and it also helps you with your marketing. And that's something that I'd really like to show you. So if, without further ado, I'd like to move into a short demo of the program so you can have a look. And here we have E-Conveyance. This is what your login screen looks like when you log in. You'll notice here there's a bar at the top. This bar at the top is always there. You always have this access. If you press, click on E-Conveyance, that brings you to your home screen. You've got your support number here. We can man this very helpful desk from 7:30 in the morning to about 8 at night. So if you have any issues, you can just call that line. And let me just orient you to the screen. Okay, so let me just go to full screen here. Okay, let me just, here, there we go. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, anyway, I was trying to go to full screen, but here we go. So here you have your calendar. You can color code your files per user. You also can toggle between looking at the firm's calendar and your own calendar. So here you can see the whole firm's calendar. or you can go back and just see the calendar that's relevant to you. Over here we have recent files. For the recent files, you have a choice of customizing this for you. You can also move these boxes around, but you can have 5 to 20 files on display, so you can access the files you've been working on. We also have a task box here at the bottom. And this task box, you can assign tasks to your staff, you can assign tasks to each other, or you can assign tasks to yourself. So this will be your running to-do list. The great thing about the tasks is they're pertaining to each particular file. You will get an email notification of the task to remind you that there's something that needs to be done. And whenever you log into E-Conveyance, you can have your tasks at the ready so you know what you need to do that day. We also have this is a great feature, something called information forms. So you can, before you even open a file, you can send your client an email by clicking this button. You click send, you put your client's name and email in here. You can customize the text of the email, but it sends them a link to a web form. And if you want to have a look, there's a web form for your purchase, your sale, or a mortgage. And I'll just quickly show it to you. You've got your property details, buyer details, mortgage details, and additional information. Your client can fill out as much as they know or as much as they can. And when they send it back to you, it comes back and you get a notification in this area right here. When you click on the form notification, it opens up the form for you, but then you can actually import all that data that has been entered by your client right into a file. So you can create a new file or you can import it into an existing file. So it really saves a lot of time for you and your clerks when they're opening files, and it also saves a lot of time on the data entry. We're integrated with Assist Real Estate. It's very simple. You put your username and password in here and log in just to see if you've got mortgage instructions. And I really love this piece as well. This is called Firm Opportunities. So here, they will track, so any mortgage that you've done, whether it's on a purchase or a refinance, so anything that's been entered into the system, they will track any mortgage renewal that's coming up in the next 90 days. So you're able to send an email to your client reminding them that the mortgage is coming up for renewal so that you're kept forefront in their minds to help assist with that refinance or whatever they happen to be doing with their mortgage. You can also track for all your contacts, including your clients, whoever has a birthday coming up. So most of the time when you're putting your ID in and you're putting your purchaser information in, you've got the client's birth dates. So how nice is that you're able to track whose birthday's coming up and send them a quick email wishing them a happy birthday. It's free and it's tracked for you. You can also track referrals. Now I used to have my staff, I used to have a big spreadsheet where they would keep track for every phone call that came in. Where was it coming from? From the internet, from the yellow pages. Well, that's in the old days. We don't have that anymore, but depending on where it came from and who referred this to the client, we'd have a spreadsheet that tracked that. You don't have to do that anymore because we have a built-in system. Every file, you can track who referred the file to you, whether it was a cold call or whether it was referred by someone. That way you can keep track of who gets invited to the Christmas party and who gets struck from the list. So you can also export any of these reports and then send them to whoever's taking care of that task for you. So without further ado, we're gonna go back to our home page here. I would like to create a file just to show you the functionality. And we're gonna start right here. So you just click Create File. And you can put in any file number that you want. And you can select your file type. I'm going to create a purchase. Now, if you use the same file number and the same matter number, you could just click on that. You also have the option of starting a file summary. So E-Conveyance has tabs, just like the other programs do, but I really like this feature, so I'm going to show this one to you. It's called Start File Summary. It brings up a long form in which you can dump all your information. If you've got your APS in front of you, you can just dump all your information into your one long form at the same time, and it populates the tabs for you. So I'm going to show you the file summary because that's one of the things I really love about this program. Anywhere there's a blue text, you can click on it and it's going to bring you to a database, and you just type in the last name of the lawyer, and then you just scroll through and see which one is the relevant one. And oh, there I am at the top of the list. So we're going to add me as the vendor lawyer. And next will bring us to the file summary. Okay, so you can see in the background here, you've got your tabs on the side. And rather than traverse through all the tabs, you're able to just go in and fill out all the information on this form. So we're just going to click and put some random information in. We've got databases everywhere, so you can scroll through and pick the appropriate realtor for your purchaser, and the same thing for the realtor for your seller. There we go. Here you can enter your vendors and purchasers' names from your APS. If you don't enter your vendors' names, you can always enter them or import them from your search. But let me just enter a few names here. So, and then we'll put in a purchaser as well. If you have more than one, you could fill out as much of this information as you know or you have at the time. You can add vendor or add purchaser if required. Here you could put an address of a property. And I'm going to put so you fill out what you want. If it's a condo, you can search your management company here. You can enter your purchase price. You can select whether there's HST or not, HST exempt, and deposit being paid to the vendor's realtor most of the time because it's a resale property. You put in your dates for your contract date, your requisition date, and your closing date. And your lawyers have already been filled in, and there you go. Click Save. And you've entered in, it takes you about 5 minutes to open a file, and all the data has already been imported into the correct tabs. So here you have your first transaction. And I'm just going to scroll down here. You can put in the date for the day that the client comes in to sign. And here's where you can track your referrals. You have categories that I'll program with you when we sign you up. And you can say add in the paper, website, existing clients, whatever it is that you want. And then you can click on this that'll bring you to your private database to track who's referring you deals. Okay, so what we have here is we've got the tabs on the left side that allows you to enter all your information. On the right side, you'll see your file details. So this is built as soon as we opened a file, as you put in the information. And here, below the file details, so this one lets you know what file you're in, and this one on the right side is recent files. It allows you to jump in and out of whatever file that you happen to be working on at the time. Because very rarely do we just work on one file at a time. We all know that there's 3 or 4 files that you might be working on simultaneously, and as you do that, you can just jump into whichever file it is that you need to access for that moment, and you can enter in the information that's appropriate, and then you could just go back to your original file. So now that we have that, just in the interest of time, I'm just going to open another file just to show you some functionality. This is a purchase file that I've already opened, and it shows your transaction data here. I'm going to show you the functionality. We're integrated with TaraView. So if we go into TaraNet Connect, it allows you to put in your account name, your username, and your password. And once you've done that, it allows you to do a property search. So once you've logged in, you just click on Obtain Property Search, and this is what will pop up. So if you wanted to see your parcel register, you just click on the PDF, and you're able to see it no problem. Okay, you can view it, you can print it, you can save it anywhere you want to, but you don't really need to save it anywhere because it's always going to be visible to you here in the program. It's always available to you. Over here, you can click import, and it imports all the data from your parcel register into the file. So here we go. I've done a search, and here's the property. Oh, sorry, one more functionality that I'd like to show you in TeraNet Connect. Once we've done our property search, you can also do your writ searches, of course. You can also search your writs of execution. You just click on conduct name search and it'll populate with your purchaser and your vendors, and it allows you to do your name search. Once you've done all your searches, you can go to docket summary and click on get docket summary. Now I have to log in to do that. Once you get your docket summary, it tells you exactly how much your searches are, and then you can just copy to disbursement, which brings it right into your account for you. Now we're just going to move on to the properties tab. As you can see, our PIN and our legal description has been imported. We've got our municipality here. Once you fill in your municipality, it shows you where to get your tax certificate, where to get your building search. You can get additional searches here as well, and you can select which ones you want. It also tells you how much it is. If you decide to do a tax search, you can copy that to disbursements, and it puts it right into your account for you as well. Price and HST has already been entered, as we did from our file summary. And here we have, this is where we build our requisition letter. So you will see that we've imported the data from the parcel register. If you don't want to see deleted instruments, you could just click on show deleted. And then here you have the option of ticking off the box saying you want to requisition things. And see, here's an application to annex restricted covenants. We're going to requisition it, but we're going to leave it on title. And your choices are to leave it on title, to remove by purchaser lawyer, or remove by vendor lawyer, right? So as you can go through, this is how you're building your requisition letter. You can select what you want to requisition and how it's going to be dealt with. And of course, it defaults to remove by vendor lawyer for the charge. So you have, your vendor information. Let's see, let me go back to properties, sorry. I want to finish going through these tabs. As you enter information through the properties tab and through all the other tabs, it actually builds the rest of the file out for you. So here's where we build our requisition letter and title issues. You can do the same thing if there's writs against any one of the clients. You've got your land transfer tax calculator here. You can tick off whether or not your purchasers are first-time home buyers. It calculates the land transfer tax for you. If they're a non-resident, you can select that in the purchaser tab, and then you can calculate the non-resident speculation tax as well. And if you're purchasing a property in Toronto, you also have that option. When you get your statement of adjustments, you can enter your tax information in here, which I've already done. And as I said, when you've got your price and HST, your LTT, your taxes, your adjustments tab and your accounts tab are already getting populated for you. If your property happens to be a condo, you can also fill out this information, and then you can also put in the start date, end date, and the amount for your common expenses. So that goes into your adjustments as well. These other tabs are self-explanatory, but you've got your tab for home insurance, for survey, for your title insurance, and for your transfer registration. And this helps to build your reporting letter. So here we have your vendors. Because this is a purchase file, we're probably not going to enter a whole lot of information on the vendor tab, but you have that option here. If you have your purchasers, you can select your purchaser. You can fill out as much information as you need to. You've got your birth date here. You can put in, the name on the APS is different than their actual name. You can indicate that here. You can put the capacity here. There's drop-down menus for everything. Family law statement, the drop-down menu is also here. You can actually record their ID right in here, and that fills out your ID verification form for you. And you can have 1 or 2 pieces. You can just add another ID document. If you want, you can just copy address from property. There you go. And then here, then we've got your, oh, and it also prompts you, and this is good because whenever you want to leave a page and you haven't saved any new data, it prompts you to save it. So I cancel, make sure I save that information. It also has an LTT tab, so you can actually edit this and enter whether or not the purchaser is a first-time home buyer, the amount of interest they're acquiring, whether or not they're a Canadian resident, and if there's a spouse to select from the list. Once you click save, this is another feature that I like. Once you've entered all the relevant information for your purchaser, you can click add to library, and that adds that to your personal database. So it adds it to the database that only your firm can see. So that way you can keep a database of all your clients. Now we're going to move on to your requisition tab. And here's where we have already built out our requisitions in the properties tab. And this is all of what we selected. Now, if you look at this and you say, well, I don't really like the wording of this, or sometimes you get just that strange requisition that doesn't really, that you want to address in a particular way that might not be defaulted. It's very simple. You just click on the pencil and it allows you to click on requisition and edit the text of the requisition to however you wish. If you decide, well, you know what, I'm actually not going to requisition this after all, I changed my mind, you just click the red circle and you can delete it. So it's very easy to build your requisition letter and edit it from this tab. For mortgages, if you've got Assist Real Estate, this tab would be populated for you. If not, you can just click on Corporate Lender. And you can click anywhere there's blue text, there's a database. You can just enter the name of the bank. If you've got your instructions by, let me try that again. It's not coming up. Let's try this again. There we go. It's just taking long. If I did RBC, it just wasn't giving it enough time. That's one of my problems. I have no patience. There we go. So we've added it. This just says that we acknowledge that you've got to check your instructions to make sure that we have the most up-to-date forms. The banks do update us, but just in case, you have to double check your instructions to make sure it's correct. Now, you can just click save. Okay. Okay. I gotta get this screen at the top here. There we go. So then it brings us, once you've entered your lender, you can choose whether you're going to get a check or a direct deposit. Your trust account will be programmed in advance. You can put in your mortgage reference number. You can choose your mortgage rank from 1 to 10. The term, the amortization period, whatever's on your instructions, you can continue to fill out your tabs here. And then you can go to mortgage details. And what I love about this is that you can go in here and you can enter the mortgage product for the bank that's in your instructions. So when you select your product here, it'll pre-populate with the forms that you need, with the schedule you need. You can enter the parameters you need. It's all done for you. So that's great. It actually, once you select a mortgage product, it also populates some of the provisions for you. Your interest calculation, your standard charge terms, and additional provisions. Then you can go on to complete your mortgage information here, whether or not there's any deductions from the mortgage advance, whether there's guarantors. You can find documents from the bank in this list, and you can generate them from this tab directly, or you can go to the document manager and generate them as well. So there's a whole list of documents that are associated with that particular mortgage product. And of course, then you put your mortgage registration information in here, and that builds your reporting letter. We're integrated with TaraView. Oops, there we go, I didn't save. You're integrated with TaraView. And as such, then you can go into your eReg tab. Here we go. And then you can select, oh, see, I added 3 charges. You can select which one of your documents you want to prepare. You prepare the instrument and you export to an XML file just as you would with your other program. And we go to the Adjustments tab, as you can see. Our adjustments have already been built out for us. So we've already put in our purchase price in our file summary. We've got our deposit that was already entered, and we've got our tax information there. If there's any reason that you need to add additional adjustments, you can very easily just choose the correct one here, whether it's a rental property or whatnot, and then you can add your adjustment there. Another thing I really love about the program is the accounts. Now you can program all of these in advance, and I will help you do that when I do the onboarding with you. You just click on Get Defaults, and you can program in advance all the different kinds of fees that you may or may charge for a particular transaction. So you can add the defaults, and then it's very easy to also edit from this page. So if you say, my default price is $9.50, but this particular client has been very difficult, so I'm going to charge them more. So you can still edit your default from this page and say, I'm going to charge this guy $1,000 because they were particularly difficult, and you can save. So it's great to have the defaults in there, but just know that you can always edit from this screen as well. The same thing for your disbursements. You can select all of them, or you can select none of them, and just select the ones you want. And it's very easy to import into your program. And again, these are also editable from this page. Okay. Funds required to close. Basically, this when your client calls in and says, how much money do I need to bring you? You've got your summary right here in front of you. It's not a document that you need to produce. I mean, it is a producible document, but you also have a screen just to view it. You also have your trust ledger, which shows you what's coming in and what's coming out, funds in and funds out. You can generate a check request. So if you have a central clerk that does all the checks, or if you're going to the bank, you can select which check you want payable, and then just click Generate Check Request, and it generates for you exactly what you want. So I just want one check payable to Suzanne Quinn for that amount. So it's very useful for to have in the file for your bookkeeper as well. Then we have your Document Manager screen, and I'm going to end shortly, but there's a lot of things I love about the way that we generate documents. But you've got a list here. You can select from a particular group, whether it's mortgage, purchase, or sale. You can also click on here and create your own group and select the documents that you want for your purchase or your sale. And if you go to Finalize Documents, once you've generated documents, all your documents will appear here. But one thing I really love also is that you also have the ability to deliver documents from here. So you can email your reporting letter, you can email your client, you can email the other lawyer, you can email your clerk, you can send documents right from the system here. You can also upload documents here. So what I do is I keep my entire file. This is like my cloud storage. So when I get the APS, I upload it here. Correspondence from the other lawyer, I also upload it here. So when I want to work from home, if I want to leave at 5 o'clock, I can log into E-Conveyance and I have my entire file stored right here. And you never need to look anywhere else, and you don't have to worry about taking your physical files home. I never let staff take files home because I was always worried about things getting lost. I like to have control. I'm a little bit of a control freak, I will admit that. But this system is beautiful because nobody needs to take any files home. Everything is stored right here at your fingertips. It's very convenient. Finally, you have the information form that I mentioned at the beginning. If you don't send it before you open the file, you can also access it from within the file, and your sent and received forms are viewable here. For title insurance, we're currently integrated with Chicago Title, but you also have the option of selecting any other provider that you want to use, and we'll give you links to their system, First Canadian and Stewart, or you can select Chicago and order your title insurance right here. Finally, we have a little notes page. So I used to like to have staff take notes if they called a client, if they spoke to the other side, if there was an issue on a file, you can all record it here. So anytime anybody logs into the system, they can see exactly what's going on. This also helped, the E-Conveyance really helped me not only achieve a better work-life balance because I could actually go home at a decent time and continue working from home if I chose to, but it also reduced the amount of paper I used. I have an online fax. All my documents are saved right here in the E-Conveyance cloud, and I didn't actually print a lot of documents. So where a file before might be 200 or 300 pages, now I might only have 50 or 80 pages. So we're saving paper and saving trees one file at a time. So that's my demo for the E-Conveyance program. I really enjoy using it, and I hope you get a chance to enjoy it as well. And you'll have an opportunity to sign up for an account and onboarding. And I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, so we'll go back to our slides. There we go. Oops. Okay, I'm a little bit challenged. There we go.
Thanks, Suzanne.
I think we're going to move back to Amanda's screen.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Give me 1 second. Let me just get this back up. Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Suzanne. Thanks so much.
Okay, so we have a few promotions going on, so we're very confident. I'm very confident, especially that as a user myself, that you will enjoy using it as much as I do. But we're so confident that we're offering 0 transaction fees for all files till the end of 2019. So it's free till the end of the year. There's no setup fee, there's no training fees, and no transaction fees. So, and no transaction fees till the end of 2019. So, and as if that's not enough, we have more promotions. Yes. So if you complete 5 files in your very first month, you will get a $50 either Visa gift card or Amazon gift card. I found that sometimes when you use something for a really long time, you just get used to it. It's not because it's good, it's because you're used to it. I used Conveyancer for 16 years. So the first time I used E-Conveyance, it felt a little uncomfortable. For me, once I got past my 3rd or 4th file, I never looked back. So we're so confident that if you're gonna love E-Conveyance, that we're actually gonna pay you if you complete 5 files in your first month. Also, for every file that you complete in E-Conveyance, between now and the end of May, you will have a ballot entered into a contest. There's a draw for a trip for 2 to the Bahamas. So I think after the winter we've had, we could all use a little bit of Bahamas right about now. So if the free transactions weren't enough incentive, then I'm sure these 2 will help incentivize you to give us a try. So if we could just move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is how we're going to get started. So you're going to sign up by completing an account setup form. You send your email to us, by email you send us your letterhead, and then you can book a training date with me. So I have a calendar that you'll be able to log into and select a training date that suits your schedule and your time. We'll walk you through the process. It's like a 2-hour session, 2 to 2.5 hours. We get you all set up. We program all those things that I was showing you, whether for your user and yourself, your accounting defaults and all that stuff. And I'll actually enter 1 or 2 files with you. So it's actually a working training. So it's not like a wasted 2 hours. We're actually going to work on real files. So, and then from there, you can just start using, and you can get entered to the chance to win a trip to the Bahamas. You can always email me or call our very helpful desk if you need any support along the way. And we also have a team here that'll be checking in with you regularly to make sure that you're understanding everything, and if you need any help along the way, that we can provide that to you, certainly. So, without further ado.
All right. Thanks so much, Suzanne. So now we're at the question and answer period of our webinar. While we're just going through the questions to see what we have, we're also going to launch a quick questionnaire to everyone. So we'd ask you just take a quick second to just answer the question for us. Arietta, are you prepared to go through the questions that we have?
I am.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we have a few questions that have come in here, so I'm just going to start reading them out loud, and then somebody from our team will answer them. So question number 1 is, can we customize our own documents?
Okay, that's a great question. Actually, we have, I forgot to say this during the webinar, so I'm really glad you asked that. We actually will customize your documents for you. So we invite you to come in and start using the system and have a look around and take a look at our documents. But if there's something in our documents that you want to edit, or a document that we don't have that you like to use, you just email them to us and we will customize them for you.
Another question we have is there a charge for document storage?
There is no charge for document storage. So you can put as many, upload as many documents as you want to your E-Conveyance file. As I said, I've been using it for about a year, and I put all my documents that are relevant to the file in there. So I haven't hit a limit yet, and I don't think there is one. So.
Okay. Is there a reactivation fee, or are the files accessible indefinitely?
That's also a good question. So there is no reactivation fee. So you will have access to your files as long as you leave them in E-Conveyance. There is a method of closing out files, but once you close a file, you won't have access any longer. But if you don't close your files, you can have them indefinitely without charge.
Okay. So we have a question here about if we support LLC deals.
We are in talks with FCT about getting an LLC integration at the moment. So currently we don't have that integration, but we hope to have that. We hope to have that soon.
Okay. And are there any keyboard shortcuts for navigating, or are you forced to use your mouse mostly?
I'm going to let Sarah answer that question. Are you here, Sarah? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was double muted. Yeah, so we do not have the keyboard shortcuts right now. You would be moving through it with your mouse through the web-based application.
Okay. And is there a limit to the number of users that can access the program at any given time?
No, there's actually no limit to the number of users. You can, as many people as you have, so there's no fee for each user that you have. So if you have a firm with 100 people, you can have 100 users. So there's no limit.
Okay. And is E-Conveyance compatible with Mac?
Yes, E-Conveyance is Mac and PC compatible, and you can use it from any device. I have accessed it from a desktop and I have accessed it from my laptop, but most of the time I use my tablet. and it works perfect.
Okay. And what will the cost of E-Conveyance be after the free trial period?
Okay, so after 2019, so come January 1st, 2020, the transaction fee will be $19.50. So that's under $20. And there will be a subscription model as well, depending on the volume of your firm that might be more attractive to you. So that's also a possibility.
Okay. And is only Chicago Title Insurance ordered through E-Conveyance, or can we use other companies through their websites?
That's right. So you can use any title insurer that you wish. We do have links to FCT and Stewart, but they're just linking to their website. You can use their system, no problem. But the only one that's fully integrated right now is Chicago.
Okay. And can you generate the prescribed information for purposes of Section 5 form?
Actually, we're working on that. That's sort of an integration also with TaraView. So even if we're able to produce the form, we still have, there's an integration piece that you have with TaraView. So that's something that we are working on though.
Okay. And this is the last question that I have right now. And it's, we have multiple lawyers at the firm. Are we able to customize documents for each lawyer?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. If anybody has any additional questions, this would be a good time to ask them.
Thanks, Arietta. So we'll just give it a minute or two to see if any more questions come through. In the meantime, let's just remind, oops, there we go. Just keep this up here so people can be reminded how they can get started using E-Conveyance in just 3 simple steps.
There's one more question that came through. Can you please confirm how we received the mortgage instructions through MMS or LLC, which we are receiving electronically through conveyancer, sorry.
Right. So right now we don't have that integration, but you can link to their website, but you would still have to enter the information into E-Conveyance. So we don't have that electronic link yet, but we do have it with Assist.
There are a couple more questions. Is this compatible with WordPerfect?
Yes, it is. So when you generate, I forgot to mention that when you generate documents, you can generate them as PDFs, or you can generate them as a Word document, but it actually generates as an RTF file, so it works with both Word and WordPerfect.
And is there a convenience charge for doing the search through the platform?
I think it's very nominal, like maybe 25 cents.
25 cents is the correct answer.
Yeah.
I think that might be it for questions now.
Okay, great. So that ends our webinar for today. If you do have any other questions that come to you later, definitely feel free to contact us, marketing@dianedurham.com. As mentioned earlier, we did record today's session, and we will send out a copy of the webinar to all attendees for today's session. That's it. Thank you again, Suzanne, for today's presentation, and we look forward to connecting with everyone in the very near future. Thanks, everyone.